What's going on, guys? It's FragKing. I have played the Overwatch open beta, and I'm going to give you my impressions on it. Hopefully you enjoy. It was a really fun beta. Now normally when I play betas, my main goal is to have some sort of feedback to give back to the developers, because I mean, a beta is, you play the game, you get a good feel for it, you give them your feedback, so hopefully they can have a even better product come release. And this one was, I really played it more because I was really enjoying myself. Like, this Overwatch is just, I don't know, man. It's crack. It's video game crack. Like when Fallout 4 came out, one of my buddies showed me a post his friend made that it melted good in the spoon and it was smooth hitting the veins. Comparing Fallout 4, of course, to heroin. I don't condone hard drug use, people, but oh my god, as soon as you get into the game, you just feel it. You just feel, oh, I'm going to have so much fun playing this, and I totally fucking did. Like, just from the atmosphere that the game puts off, it's welcoming, and it's welcoming you. It's like, please come in, shoot your friends in the face, get shot in the face, have fun, and it's so inviting, it's so welcoming. Unlike so many first-person multiplayer games today, it was just so beautiful when you went into the game, and it was just really exciting. I mean, it's details-wise, there's a lot I could say, a lot I can go off of, but I'm gonna go for my outright experiences playing the open beta. First off, the game it's so close to release that it's really hard to say if they even have time to do any fixes, which probably small ones. But I mean, to me, I felt like I was playing a complete game, and for the most part, I was. I mean, I'm pretty sure they left out a few features here and there because of the beta, which is only going to up the game's credibility even more, because I've really fucking enjoyed this game. Like, it's so few and far between I can just gush over how much I enjoyed an experience, and this game really was that kind of experience. Like, just really fun. I feel like I'm going around in circles saying that, but I just got to get that through to you. It was super fun, and I screwed around with a lot of characters. Normally, in games where you have a lot of options, I try to hone in, who the characters that I could play the most and get, the most benefit out of. Like, who do I enjoy playing, but who will help me progress in this game further? And with Overwatch, I didn't have to do that. I mean, I just kept going through, I wanted to try out all these different characters. I didn't care if I fucked up. I just wanted to experience them. Like, I messed around with every class, every style. The characters I used the most, I'd have to say, were Bastion, Pharah, Reaper, and I used Road Dogg and Tracer a little bit. Most people went straight for Tracer because she's the mascot of the game, quote unquote, and definitely brought the most attention with the conspiracy involving, well, her ass. And honestly, playing as Tracer, I did not see, I didn't even, there wasn't even anything sexualizing going on. Like, I didn't even get to see the victory pose that was replaced for the other one. So, I mean, which kind of, to me, feels like that whole thing was really fucking pointless, but we're past that. We're talking about the game itself. And actually, I'll talk a little bit about my experiences with the characters that I use the most. And we'll start with Trace. Her character is actually pretty fun. Her little special ability, she's like short range teleporting, also blinking. We all knew the term blinking. She could blink around the battlefield. She would actually reverse time to heal herself, which was a cool mechanic. But it also was really easy to fuck you because I would notice myself running in a battle, using that move and going back, and I didn't even have any health to regain, and it puts you right in line to get taken out by somebody else. Which was really cool. You have to play her pretty smart, because you can't just blink all over the place and expect to get anywhere, which is really cool. I liked her special, which was just kind of like drops like this big glowing bomb thing. It's just like blah, and then explosion. And that was real fun. I enjoyed kind of blinking into a group that if the enemy was grouped together, I enjoyed blinking into the middle of them, drop this thing, blinking out of the way, just watch. I mean, I don't think I got any real multi kills with that. I definitely got a kill here or there with that tactic, but it was still super fun just to bloop, drop, bloop out, and blah, just knowing you at least gave them a scare. And she was real fun to play with. Her personality was real upbeat, very high pitched English accent, because she's from across the pond, which was pretty cool. I liked her character, liked her personality. Roadhog, he was a tank. He was really cool too. Like, tanks are slower moving characters, but they didn't feel like they were sluggish. Like, you didn't feel like you were, always in the back of the group running towards your objective or whatever. But so, I mean, that was very comforting. Tanks could still be able to get into the battle effectively and do their part. And I really liked his special, where he has his hook in one hand, he has a junk gun where I guess he just throws scrap in and just blasts it at you. And he had different fire styles, like you could either go have like a spray or a more concentrated blast, which required more accuracy, which really wasn't an issue with him. Like, because I actually, with any of the characters, aiming was not an issue. Getting consistent hits was not an issue. As long as you could get the strafing down, cake. And getting used to the characters was super easy. Very, very user friendly game, and I enjoyed that a lot. Because you can get into the game. Tutorial was very, very short, but very informative. Gave you everything you need to know and sent you right on to the fray, and you had so much fun. And for a character like Roadhog, it being user friendly was definitely a big help. Because his ability, he has a hook in his one hand, as I said. He throws a hook at you, just like a scorpion, like, get over here! And he throws the hook, grabs the opponent, pulls them in, and it was really cool, because as you pull them in, you take your junk gun and shoot them and take them out as soon as you drag them in. Really cool, he was a good representation of a tank character. He could soak up the damage. He's very useful for defending your objectives or taking your objectives, which is pretty much the point of the tanks in this. You get out there, you soak up the damage, you get to your objective, you take out people there soaking, and while you're soaking up the damage, and it works really well in conjunction with a healer. Loved the fact that when I went into an objective to try to take it, and a healer, someone playing preferably Mercy, would just be like flying right behind you, healing you the whole time while you're going in there and just wrecking face. It was super fun playing him, and I like how he was a tank that also had his own heal. He wears a pig gas mask, and you can take like a gas mask filter, he puts it on there and it heals him, which is really cool. Definitely useful. His ult was pretty decent. Basically just throws a bunch of junk in his junk gun and just starts rapid firing it all out. Real high recoil though. I was fighting, trying to keep it, where I wanted my shots to go, but it actually worked even better up close, because your target was obviously bigger, so you could just kind of let the recoil just take it up their body and just manhandle them. Beautiful, so much fun. I'd say I would lean more towards offensive characters in this game. I have played them the most. And one of them was Farah, which is a play on Pharaoh. She was Egyptian. Good character design. I liked the way she looked. I liked her because she had like this kind of like, I'm assuming, eagle like looking armor. It was real cool looking. They had a rocket launcher, you know, explosive. She was I believe she was a damage character. Yeah, she was on the far left, I believe. So she was a damage character using a rocket launcher. Out of the characters I played the most, she was the hardest to get used to. I was thinking there'd be more splash damage with her rockets. Not so much, but then again, I would assume that's for balancing purposes. So she was fun to play. She could hover. I guess it was a rocket pack on her back. She could like hover and like fly around, or you could just kind of like launch her forward. Like, I did like how their sprint moves, quote unquote, were more like were special to the characters, which was real fun. Real fun. It wasn't just you just rush somewhere. Like for Tracer, instead of sprinting, you would just blink your way through. Because in her blink recharged pretty fast, which is alright. Roadhog did not have a sprint, which makes sense because tanks were bigger characters. So yeah, you would figure they wouldn't be doing sprinting. I do know one of them had a kind of a I forget his name. He had the guy with the big shield he could put up, and he had a big warhammer, and he would just kind of like charge super fast in front of him, which makes sense. It was more of their faster moving moves were also had like a purpose to them, which is definitely useful, making use of your key mapping without having 50,000 keys to remember, which was real nice. But anyway, back to Pharah. Her moves are pretty cool. She her ultimate move was she would actually just shoot a barrage of rockets at people, which is really it was tricky to use, but very satisfying when you got a multi-kill with it. I noticed a lot of people would actually put her on a higher plateau than other people, go way up in the air, then just rain down on top of like objectives. Real good strategies. That's one thing I liked about the characters. Every character felt very different. Lots of varied strategies you can use in conjunction with other players, which made it a real fun. It was a real fun asset because there was a lot more unknown compared to other first-person shooters with multiplayer emphasis. Because, I mean, they get predictable. This game seems a little more unpredictable when it comes to tactics, especially with how the maps are laid out and how each character is very different from the others, which is super awesome. That adds for replay value, and it just adds for the fun, because you could totally troll the shit out of people, and it's so much fun doing that. But if Pharah was a good character, it's difficult to use, but definitely with time, you could definitely, with any character with time, they all seem pretty easy to master, which definitely gives more. It gives more reason to play as more characters. You don't want one character to get boring. And it seems like you could easily master multiple characters to handle many different situations. Because I noticed in character selection, you definitely had more time to see who was doing what, so you could pick a character that benefits the team and not just yourself, which is definitely cool. Probably the second most used character I had was Reaper, who he was fun to play. I love Reaper's look. He just looks so badass with that skull mask and those two big ass pistols and that duster he wore. Like, it was almost like some sort of weird desperado cowboy mercenary thing, but not quite, because he's all dark and brooding and death comes for thee. You know, there's just, you couldn't really put a mark on what kind of character he was unless you actually looked into his lore, which is really cool, because a lot of these characters I really wanted to know more about them, which is a good draw to any video game, to make you want to be in the world, make you want to know more about the characters in it. And every character I encountered made me want to do that to some extent. I mean, there were some characters that I didn't really care for myself, and not because they were bad characters, just because they're more of a personal preference. And Reaper was definitely a character I was into. I thought he was really cool. I liked how his guns were set up, because you would figure he would be more of a short range character running around with two pistols, but those pistols had some range, which is really nice. But as you would go further out, it was more like a buckshot effect in a shotgun. The closer you are, the more damage you will do because of less bullet spread, or in this case buckshot spread, whatever. But but still you can get damage with him, just kind of less. But the way his firing mechanics went, it was really easy to sit there, boom, 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 just go and lay into people at a range and still get relatively the same effect of having them right up front. And his character's was more like a phantom type deal. His I don't know if I should call them sprint moves, dash moves, or what. I guess we'll just call them sprint moves for now. He would become like ethereal, like he would be invulnerable. He couldn't fire, but you could like move fast and like kind of scurry away from people, which is very, very useful. Like, and especially because he was also pretty fast moving too, because you could run up to an objective, ba 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 ba, get yourself a bunch of either quick kills or just do a ton of damage, hit shift, get into a little phantom mode and just kind of run off and let either one of your heavier damage people or your tank go in and finish the job, which is freaking awesome. His other move was a teleport, which to me was more of a setup for his ult. You basically pick your spot and then he would do a small animation, teleport to where you chose, which, as I said, was a really good setup for his ultimate, where he literally just puts guns out of both sides, starts spinning around and shooting everyone. And it was a cool ult. It's definitely one you gotta time your use for it, because otherwise you will, which happened to me a bunch of times, you'll go to use it and then like somebody with like Bastion or Widowmaker just offs you, like, and you just wasted your ult for no reason. So definitely, for you guys who do make the purchase when it comes to release and you choose Reaper, play him very tactically. Tactically, I can talk. Yes. But yeah, he was probably my second favorite character. My favorite character had to have been Bastion. He looks hard deceiving from. He looks like he's just big, kind of. He feels like he wouldn't be an interesting character to play for just being like this big robot guy. But probably the funnest character that I got to use. Definitely. It wasn't because of personality, it's just because of sheer playability. So much fun. Walks pretty damn fast for a big ass robot, and when his standard mode, when he's running around, he has an arm mounted machine gun, and just when you shouldn't, you're firing, from the animation to the sound, it just sounds like you're firing this big ass gun mounted to your arm, and you could take on everyone. Oh. And yeah, you felt powerful when you played him. Honestly, you felt a degree of power when you played any character. Like I played a decent amount of the roster in this game, and each one in its own right makes you feel good. It makes you feel powerful, and I really like that. But Bastion definitely was probably my favorite character to play, especially because of the different modes, quote unquote, that he has. His regular mode, he runs around, he has a arm-mounted gun, just decent damage. If you can catch someone from behind, or someone who's got they're busy dealing with someone else, you could sit there and take them out with his main weapon very quickly without much to worry about. His secondary mode, I guess, he turns into a stationary turret, but oh my god. If you can put him in turret mode at just the right spot, either defending an objective or right at the beginning. So there was a few maps actually where if you're on defense, whatever objective is right in front of your opponent's base, and if you set up just right, as soon as the doors open and match starts, you could just shit all over their match and just ruin their day, and it is so fun. Like, turret mode it's either going to be a huge boon on your side or a terrible curse if you got a good Bastion player on the other team. And yeah, they definitely gave me some problems playing certain matches. But yeah, and his ult was definitely cool. But before we talk about his ult, his other he didn't have a sprint move, so to speak. He did have his own healing, which was like certain other characters, you know, he'll be healing over time, or certain ways to heal. Him, he just straight up heals, plain and simple. Pulls out a little repair arm, bzz, 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 kind of buzzes around him, heals him right up, and it's great. Which is a great thing to do before you use his ult, which he just turns into a little tiny tank, and it's fucking awesome because he has his big ass cannon. Do. I feel like I was wondering while playing if his ult lasted too long or not long enough, and I assume because I'm thinking that his ult must be just right, because you can if you use it right, you can clear out the entire fucking enemy team. You can ace them real quick. And I know I got a few aces. I forget if I got one with him or not. I will have to say, at the end of each match, you get a play of the game. One of the competitors gets, who has, I don't know how they decide who gets player of the game, but you get a little highlight at the end. And I'm pretty sure I got all my plays of the game with Bastion, which makes sense. He's my favorite character. It definitely would be the character that I would use most. He'd probably be my main. He's considered defense mainly because of the turret function, because he sits stationary and defends something. Makes sense. But you can definitely switch him up to being a damage character, just if you can play his standard, they call it recon mode. If you can master that, you can basically go back and forth, which is pretty much what I did, and which is a really nice for him to be able to help out your offensive characters, or go back and even help defend with the tank, which is very nice. The way the game looked, like, the game is very bright colors, I guess the best way to describe it would be cartoony, but it's not cartoony to where it's redundant or where it's just, you know, not. It feels fun and bright and fun. You know, it's just the atmosphere of the game, of the graphic. It just was fun, and which is really nice from games that have been coming out lately. A lot of them are really dark, really dull, and they're just not. You don't get that environment that's just. You know you're here to shoot people in the face, but you're going to have a blissful time and be happy while doing it. And say I didn't get frustrated a lot during this. I didn't get mad, and I like to think that's because of what I was looking at. The environment in front of me definitely helped with that. It was pleasant, and it felt really good. I really liked it. I liked how it wasn't just so blah and all these, you know, dim colors, very bright, very warm. I really liked that about how the game looked. The maps were really good too. I'm assuming there's got to be other modes that weren't in the open beta, like more likely maybe like some sort of team deathmatch or a free for all, where you can use these big maps more to their advantage. Because there was a lot of spots in the game modes that were presented to us that would not be utilized any other for these game modes. You know, there are parts of the map that weren't even touched, you know, by the objectives or anything like that. I'm assuming, yeah, you can use these to get around to other places without engaging the enemy. You can have little kind of concentrated skirmishes like away from them in those. But I feel like there should be other game modes that utilize these maps a little better, but not saying anything against the maps. The maps were actually really well designed. Every map felt different than the other maps, and that's definitely because of the bright colors and just the different locations. It's kind of like a pseudo Earth. You can go. We went to like England. We went to Hollywood. We went to I think some places in Africa. We went to Japan, which was really cool, like going to all these different locations that are in our world, but in this representation of our world. And that was really cool. The maps are definitely really nice. I liked how, and you could tell that all the places where the actual objectives were, the map actually made those spots for the objectives, which was cool. And I definitely gave that area a kind of air of prominence, so to speak. It definitely made it feel like it was a, it was like, this is like, yeah, we're fighting over this for some reasons. So the one I was, the one objective I'm looking at him like, oh, I see. I think this was one of the map in Japan. Or you turn around, I turn around, all I see is just a sword on the stand. I'm like, is this what we're defending? A fucking sword? And I had to laugh my ass off about it. They say it which is again all going back to this aura of fun with this game. It's really hard to describe it as anything but fun, like super engaging. The gameplay itself was very fast paced. Even if you were trying to hang back, playing defense, or even from what I observed from playing the sniper for a little bit, I was not the best sniper. I tried playing, what's his name, Hanzo, I think, the dude, the bow and arrow guy. I tried playing as him, and I tried so hard, and I just could not do it. And I got my ass kicked by so many other people playing as him. It was just like, why can't I do it? And I tried playing as Widowmaker. Damn, such a well-designed character, I have to say. I like her booty. She had a very nice booty. But, yeah, just, I couldn't get it with the snipers. I tried so hard. You know, I'm taking my thought train off the tracks at the moment. Overall, the game itself was very entertaining. I had a very good time. I played it because I was definitely playing it to like give feedback, but I came back because I legitimately enjoyed playing it. Overwatch is such a fun game when you boil it down. And I liked how there wasn't, okay, at the time. I'm not sure if they will put microtransactions in this or any sort of mechanic like that, but I liked how I wasn't really playing for anything substantial. I was playing for the enjoyment of it. Of course, you get character progression, you can level up. You know, they have really good stat tracking, excellent stat tracking. Which is really good to help you improve as a player and with the different heroes or champions, whatever you want to call them in the game. I just call them characters. But they do have loot boxes you get for every time you level up, which was nice. And it wasn't and the loot you were getting was nothing to worry about when it comes to playing. Like, it doesn't give you an edge over your opponent, which is definitely a point that I really like, but I'll touch on that in a second. But everything you got in your loot crate, these loot boxes, loot crates, whatever you want to call them, you can get like skins or victory poses or new voice lines that they can say during battle, or sprays. I don't know what the sprays are. I couldn't even figure out how to use them. I see people run up to a wall and they like graffiti it. I guess that's cool. But I mean that kind of stuff I'm not really worried about. But they say it's fun stuff to keep characters fresh, to keep things different, which is all right. And I also like how there's nothing you can do to make your character stronger or weaker other than your own skill. I will have to see certain characters are definitely more powerful than other characters, but they can't get more powerful. I think I said that right. I don't want any grammar Nazis jumping down my throat, but yeah, and I really thought that gave everyone a nice level playing field, because you could be a character that's not as powerful. Say like you're an kind of like a low end damage character, and then you have a tank with a lot of health and that can kill you in like 2 shots, but they're not going to get any stronger, so you can still beat them with, you know, being tactical, having a good strategy going into your match, which definitely promotes better communication through your team. And because of the certain roles that each character has, it made it a lot easier for teams to work well together without even having to talk, which is nice. I mean, you knew what your character role was, and then you went and did it. Of course, there were matches where, you know, I would try to be to kind of be what role my team needed, and then all of a sudden everyone becomes like Widowmaker, and it's like, we don't need 5 snipers. What the fuck? I mean, but that's par for the course with any game nowadays, where your team just will not cooperate. But this game, I didn't really deal with that a whole lot compared to other games, which is really nice. The community itself was not bad. There wasn't people being like idiots. I played it on PC. I did watch some other people's impressions who played it on console, and they seemed to kind of deal with idiots over the voice chat a little more than I did. Of course, I didn't even deal with voice chat, so I did have one person in chat being a douchebag, but that was really it. Other than that, everyone was pretty cool. Everyone kept it, nice and friendly, and we all had a really great time. Sorry, I'm trying to think of any other points I want to touch on. Well, the big thing is with Overwatch is, how does it compare to Battleborn, which is 2K's offering right now, which is probably the closest competition you really have to Overwatch, and you can't really compare them. I mean, granted, they're on the same vein, but not really. Because, I mean, I played the... I've been playing, I played Battleborn since the closed betas, so I got a good feel on that. And I mean, I might talk about that game in another video. I actually had a bunch of footage that I kind of lost. That's a whole nother tale, but honestly, I wouldn't compare them, because you're going to get 2 different experiences from each game. And, they're both, I'm going to say both games are really good. But don't compare them, because you're taking away from one game where it doesn't deserve to be taken away from, and adding to another game that doesn't need anything else to really elevate it, honestly. So, I mean, if someone would come up to me and go, which one should I get, Overwatch or Battleborn? Honestly, I couldn't answer that question for you, because they're both really good games. I could understand not having both of them, but I mean, more than likely I'm going to buy both of them. I will definitely be buying Overwatch, and because it is a fun game. It's definitely worth your time. It's worth your money. And yeah, so I mean, if this is more of an impressions video, I'm not reviewing it because it was a beta. You can't really review a beta. I'm just giving my impressions on my experience, and if I feel it should inspire someone to actually go out and make the purchase come release. And I would have to say, yeah, definitely you should go and get Overwatch, or at least go to a friends who has it and try it out for yourself before going out and getting your own copy. Everyone needs to make educated decisions when it comes to buying video games, or else we support douchebags like Konami. But definitely, if you wanted my recommendation, I would give it. Just from the open beta alone, this game is super fun. The characters are varied, and just they make the game come alive. The levels were very well designed, the colors, the brightness is warm, inviting, and definitely gives a feel that you are here to have fun. The gameplay is very streamlined, it's simple in a good way. Definitely worth the 5 minutes it'll take you to get it down. So definitely go out and get this game when it comes out, because I will be doing it, and I look forward to seeing you guys playing it with me. So I'll be on PC. If console, whatever, get it. Support it. Blizzard did a damn good job, which is definitely refreshing, especially after the early problems that Diablo 3 had, which is the last Blizzard game that I've played. I haven't played Heroes of the Storm, and I'm not really big into the card games like Hearthstone. Sorry, guys. But, yeah, I mean, so the last game I have played was Diablo, and so that had a real rocky start. And it feels good that Blizzard's doing a lot better, especially with Overwatch. And that's pretty much my impressions of this, of my time in the open beta. We're pushing about 40 minutes on this video, and I don't like having videos that long, just me rambling. But, if this was informative, if this helped you guys out, please go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new here. I make videos when I can, talking about video games, playing video games, modding video games, having fun with video games, enjoying video games, because that's what we're all about here, enjoying your gaming. And if you want, go ahead and like us on Facebook, facebook.com/FragKing Gaming, for updates and any other whatevers that goes on with the channel. And as I said, hopefully this was, I wouldn't say educational, but helpful to your decision if you want to pick up Overwatch. I am. You should too. And hopefully I will see you on the battlefield. I'm FragKing. This has been my impressions on the Overwatch open beta. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, enjoy your gaming.